Hi there. Welcome to Uncle Don's Friday Night Cocktail Hour. Once again, Saturday edition. Things just happen, so you do your cocktail hour videos whenever you can. So thank you for being patient with me. All right. Well, I hope everybody's enjoying all of this nice fall weather. I think it's finally here to stay, and I'm looking forward to it very much. And I'm also looking forward down the road to making a nice seasonal hot drink for you guys that I think you're going to really love. But stay tuned for that. All right, so I'm going to make a drink tonight that is kind of it's a combination somewhat of a few different drinks. It's called the Saratoga. Now, this drink, again, is thought to have originated in Saratoga Springs, New York, which in the 1880s, late 1800s, and early 20th century, it was, a vacation and a gambling capital of the U.S., very much at the time like Las Vegas is now. So, and this drink actually is in the 1880 edition. There's a cocktail book that came out about then that a lot of some of the drinks I've made were actually published in that cocktail recipe book. So we're going to make that drink for you tonight, and I think you're going to like it very much. It does also have kind of a little autumnal tone to it, but you can drink it any time of the year if you want to. Now, this drink is made with, in essence, 4 ingredients. We're going to use some sort of whiskey, which you can use either bourbon whiskey or, as I like to use, I really like rye whiskey for a lot of these drinks because I just think it, the way rye tastes, it adds some body and depth to a drink that, just makes you enjoy it even more. We're going to use some sweet vermouth. And again, here's my Martini and Rossi sweet vermouth. You can use just about any kind you want, and it'll still be adequate. This drink also calls for either brandy or cognac. Now, you'll probably see this drink mixed more with brandy, but I really like this Remy Martin 1738 cognac. I think it's a great sipping cognac, and I think it also goes really well in drinks. And that's what we're going to make it with tonight. And then, of course, Angostura bitters. What Uncle Don cocktail, at least several of his cocktails, aren't made better by the seasoning effect of Angostura bitters. All right, and then later we're going to garnish it with a little orange peel. You can use a lemon peel. It's described in the literature with both. So I'd leave it up to you. All right, so let's get going. First thing, again, we're going to add some ice to our cocktail shaker. Now, to all my friends out there who, really enjoy the shake, shake, shake part of this, this is in many ways like a Manhattan, and it's traditionally stirred, so I'm going to be stirring it in my cocktail shaker. So I apologize, but I will have some stirring music that I've kind of used in the past. By the way, that the stirring or muddling music and video you've seen were taped many years ago in the Narita, Tokyo airport. Those little dolls with their wobbling heads back and forth. They were so hypnotic, I could not resist making a video of it. And who knew all these years they would show up in a really neat cocktail video. So there we go. Cocktail shaker filled up with ice. And then basically what you have here is you have a 1-to-1-to-1 mix of your spirit, your cognac or brandy, and your sweet vermouth. And then 2 dashes of Angostura bitters. So let's get going here. So we're going to just do 1 ounce of each. You can do 1 measure, 1 jigger of each if you want to, but we're just going to basically do 1 ounce of each, and I'm going to just kind of pour that in here now. 1 ounce of my delicious, and again, this is my Whistle Pig Piggyback 6-year rye whiskey. Great rye whiskey. My favorite is the Bullet Rye, which I've for years mispronounced. Apparently, it actually is Bullet, not Boulier, so I'm not as fancy as I thought I was. All right, 1 ounce of sweet vermouth. And again, you can use any kind of sweet vermouth you want. Martini and Rossi is just a great, good utility sweet vermouth that you can get just about anywhere. And then Carpano Antica is a really fancy one that has some great flavor to it. More expensive, but you've heard me talk about that one before. And then, once again, 1 ounce of our cognac, which, let's see, do I have that? I've got about 1 ounce right there. So a little more splash. And then in it goes with the rest of all of our liquor in there. So, all right. And then shake it up a little bit. And then this is getting to be empty. I'm getting pretty close to the bottom of this. And luckily, Uncle Don has another one to use as a backup. And then the next thing we're going to do is I got my stirring spoon right here. And again, just a little information on, you know, what you do with this spoon. It's kind of hard to spoon or stir something like you would stir a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Basically, what you do is you take the paddle of the stirring spoon and you slide it down the side of the inside of your vessel, your container, your cocktail shaker. And then you're going to loosely hold on to the stem of the spoon, and then you're just going to spin it around so that the cocktail shaker, the spoon stem just kind of freely spins in between your fingers, and the whole time the spooning paddle is just stirring around the outside and mixing everything up. Now, it's not only mixing things up, but it's also providing an excellent chilling effect. Now, another thing to remember is, since we're not shaking this, what happens when you shake a cocktail is all of those pieces of ice that you have in the cocktail shaker are just violently crashing back and forth with each other, with the inside of your cocktail shaker, and that causes fracturing and shattering and ice shards to develop inside your drink, and that can lead to dilution of your drink, which, you know, is not always a good thing. So, you know, this is one reason why I like to stir my Manhattans, and Manhattans are typically always stirred, and why we'll stir this drink. And sometimes I'll have a real gin martini that I'll stir, but most of the time I like to shake those, and then I'll strain my martini through a little strainer to get rid of all that ice there. So, all right, so I'm going to stir this a good bit because I want it to mix up and get ice cold, so much that my fingers, again, will be sticking to the cocktail shaker. So, as I promised, here is a little stirring music. Take it away.
That's just messed up. That's messed up.
All right, how was that? Again, video shot live in the Narita Airport in Tokyo, Japan, about 6-7 years ago, with Uncle Don's good friend, Uncle Brooke. And Uncle Brooke, everybody knows who Uncle Brooke is. Hopefully everybody knows who Uncle Don is by now. All right, now by now you can see there's a nice frost around your cocktail shaker. So that means this is one cold cocktail. And we're going to like this one tonight, I think, very much. All right, so there we go. I'll just kind of tap that out, take a little taste of it. Don't you know that's going to be good? All right, now, what are you going to serve this in? Well, you can serve it in pretty much anything you want to. Nobody's going to really give you a hard time unless you're a real, you know, cocktail stickler. But what I like to serve this in is a chilled coupe glass. So look at that. You can serve champagne in that. You can put martinis in that. You can serve delicious ice cold frosty champagne in there. But I'm going to serve my Saratoga cocktail tonight in that. All right, so here we go. Pouring it right out. And if you just kind of, you know, look at that and think that, you know, that kind of looks a little bit like a Manhattan as far as darkness. Well, you wouldn't be far from wrong, because there's rye whiskey and sweet vermouth in there. But it's also kind of cut with the cognac. And again, the depth and flavor that adds is just, you know, incredible, along with, you know, once again, you know, Angostura bitters is seasoning for your cocktail. Remember that. That's one of the greatest sayings that I think I've heard before about what exactly a Angostura bitters is good for. All right, we're done making this, and now we're going to top it off with a nice garnish of orange peel. And again, I like a nice healthy piece of orange peel to kind of put in my cocktail right there. And let's just pinch that and squeeze out some of that orange oil, oh yeah, into your glass. And again, that is just going to add another layer of detectable flavor and make you such a sophisticated cocktail maker. You're just going to be, your friends are going to be in awe of you. And then, you know, like we do with my martinis, you know, I like to kind of kiss the rim with the garnish before I dive it in. And there you go. This is a Saratoga cocktail. And We're going to give that a nice taste now. That looks fantastic. Oh, and that's nice and cold. And that is, it gives you a hint of the Manhattan flavor, but the cognac kind of adds a level, kind of an off ramp for flavor that is just outstanding. I think you guys are going to like this very much. I got to have another taste. Oh, fantastic. Now, I'm going to lift my glass today. Last week, I did a little shout out to a local Western Branch business. I'm going to give my shout out again to another local Western Branch business here in Chesapeake, Virginia. We've been eating at Szechuan Inn Chinese restaurant since we moved here in 1999. And Vicky and everybody that works there, they've served some pretty wicked good Chinese food, and they always get it right. And even with our really little picky kind of things that we like to have with our Chinese food done a certain way, they always accommodate us. Outstanding. They stayed open even during the early parts of the pandemic, and I tried to make every use I can of them, and have some Chinese food now and again. But excellent Chinese food. Vicky, outstanding. You guys are great. And I'm just going to drink this up tonight. You guys have a nice weekend. I'll see you next week. And I think we've got a couple of really neat cocktails going to be making up for you guys pretty soon. I hope you enjoy. Cheers. Have a great rest of your weekend.